Let's now return to the studio and speak Karuma Dam's potential towards socio-economic development. I have with me the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy, Irene Bateebe, who will be updating us on the very latest developments, but also what it means for us to have the 600 megawatt facility on board the national grid. There's a lot that has been happening behind the scenes, especially with regard to the number of months that the dam was supposed to be with us. Initially, we were told that within 60 months, especially when the construction began, that would be done. However, we are now 54 months plus. I do not know whether that should be something that we should be worried about, or we should be emboldened that the best possible developments are going on to ensure that no hitches occur once we have full-scale operations. Madam Irene Bateebe, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Higenyi. Thank you for having us this morning.
Yes, first bring us up to speed with the latest developments in as far as Karuma Dam is concerned. Many of us have heard in the news, Karuma is at stage so-and-so, operations are going to begin, but then again, the anticipation is killed by the fact that those operations are not seen. Where are we right now?
There's been significant progress on the Karuma project, and as we speak, Karuma came into its commercial operations during June of this year, and we are now preparing for the official commissioning. And alluding to the time spent in development of this project, you will appreciate that this is a unique project. Karuma is among the only 3 power dams that have an underground powerhouse in Africa. So that presents, on one hand, advantages in terms of flexibility and efficiency in terms of the production of power. On the other hand, of course, it then comes with the unique challenges of how you construct and deliver such a dam.
That's right.
So having commenced its construction in December 2013, it has taken about 11 years, but for good reasons, because the safety of this power plant is extremely important. So over the years, we've ensured that we address all issues concerning the plant to prepare it for its 100-year lifetime that it has to be in operation. That is critical. Get it right from the word go to ensure the longevity of the plant, but also the safety of operations of the plant.
Okay. You said operations official commissioning is due. When is that? Do we have a set date?
We do. We are preparing for the commissioning that's going to be presided over by His Excellency the President tomorrow, Thursday in Karuma. And we are in full gear to receive our different guests to commission this monumental project.
All right. Just give us a picture of the demand for power in the country right now and the capacity of Karuma and its add-on onto the grid and what that means, because there are pockets within the country that are still experiencing problems with power. How does the Karuma equation settle with that particular X?
The value chain for power generation cuts across the power generation itself, the transmission, the distribution, but also last mile connectivity to your houses, to your businesses, among others. As we speak, we've grown the capacity of power generation from about 350 megawatts in 2005 to the current about 2,049 megawatts.
Wow.
And that is coming from a total of 44 power plants, cutting across the mini hydros, micros, very small hydros, but also the large hydros, Isimba, Kira Nalubale, and now Karuma. As we speak, at peak demand, we are consuming about 990 megawatts, And that is also a good thing. We have seen countries like South Africa where you enter a deficit and then you start load shedding. We are avoiding such a situation by ensuring that we always have our supply ahead of the demand, all the time. Okay. So what we are doing to ensure we support the use of this power is in several ways. Number one, as a ministry, we are focused on extending power to the end users. Be it industrial parks, we are working with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that we support a number of industrial parks to access power, and these will be among our major demand centers for this power. We are also focused on extending more power to households. Today, 60% of the country is connected to a form of electricity, be it off-grid or on-grid. And we are working to ensure that we cover the remaining 40% in terms of our electricity access scale-up and universal access targets. So we have unlocked a number of projects. We are working currently to connect 1 million, or to make 1 million connections as part of a World Bank project we are implementing of about $638 million. That will unlock a demand for this power. We are focusing and targeting small and medium enterprises, but also supporting agro-processing, because we are aware that these are centers where we create employment, but where many youth in the country are playing. So we want to ensure we are supporting them to access this electricity. Of course, as part of our regional commitments, we are part of the East Africa Power Pool. Beyond Uganda, we are also looking to serve the regional market. We are already trading with Kenya, but also Rwanda and Tanzania. And we are working on new power transmission lines into South Sudan to pick from Oluyo through Nimule to Juba, but also enhance our supply to Tanzania through Masaka, Mutukula, Mwanza, a transmission line, but also get into the DRC to be able to complete the puzzle of the East Africa Power Pool power trade. So those different aspects will unlock the demand to ensure that this power plant is completely dispatched at its full operation.
Okay, there are some elements, especially those that observe economic progress and development from their vantage point, who are concerned about the fact that the distribution infrastructure seems to work or seems to be rolled out rather expeditiously when it comes to the infrastructure that exports power out of Uganda, and very little attention is paid to the infrastructure that distributes power within the country, and that is a bit of a misnomer.
That might not be factual. It is a balanced approach to this development, because we continue to grow the in-country distribution network, and that has spoken to that increased access from 10% 20 years or so to 60% today within the country. That goes to confirm that government is committed to supporting in-country access to power. And that's why for this National Development Plan 3, but also going into the National Development Plan 4, we are focused on extending power to the end user within Uganda. The issue of the regional power trade, it's good for even us as Uganda. Whichever country faces a deficit, you're able to then pick from your neighbor, and that ensures that each country is energy secure. It is a known business phenomenon around power trade, and it is not that we are prioritizing the region over the local Ugandan consumer. It is a balanced approach to power supply.
All right. Also, concerns are very existent and rife with regard to tariffs and the net cost of power for the average Ugandan. For the industrial users, there are concerns that are addressed specifically to meet them, because they are very crucial to socio-economic development, the provision of jobs by some of these industries, and then the disruptions that come with inability to have sufficient power at any one point in time. Does the new commissioning of Karuma and the onboarding onto the grid of this enormous capacity in terms of power fundamentally reduce the price, both for the low consumers as well as the large industrial consumers of power? Are we going to see something significant where, for example, if I load power onto my Yaka meter, if I was using 25,000 Uganda shillings per month, can that drop because of Karuma Dam to 7,000?
Okay, it's important to appreciate the key drivers for the power tariffs or the cost of your electricity. The cost of electricity is driven again by the entire investment in the value chain, generation, transmission and distribution. And it is true that generation contributes the significant portion to the tariff at about 70%, a contributor to the tariffs that we are experiencing today. Now, the good news is government strategy has been to invest using concessional financing, attractive financing, patient capital in this infrastructure. So compared to Bujagali, which was largely privately developed, when you look at Karuma, but also Isimba, where we partnered with the government of the People's Republic of China through the China Exim Bank, we are able to achieve lower generation tariffs. Today, Karuma, once onboarded, its generation tariff will be at about 4.9 US cents per kilowatt hour. And as we speak, Isimba is at about 4.1 US cents per kilowatt hour, compared to Bujagali initially in the region of 11 or so. And we had to refinance to bring it down to 8 US cents per kilowatt hour because it's privately developed. So what does that mean? In the bigger scheme of things, definitely we should see a contributor to a decline in the tariffs. But remember, that's only 70% contribution. We have to continue bringing down our energy losses, both commercial and technical, because that also contributes to the tariff, dealing with the end user and ensuring efficiency on the distribution side. So already we are experiencing a decline in the tariffs. The regulator has already announced over the last 3 years or so a drop by about 1.5 US cents per kilowatt hour on average. And we've even seen the extra large industries enjoying lower tariffs from 9 US cents per kilowatt hour about 3 years ago to currently 6.2 US cents. And off-peak, the extra large industries are enjoying 5 US cents per kilowatt hour. So that speaks to government's commitment to continue lowering the tariff. So our strategy, therefore, is for the next cycle of these power plants to ensure that we are using cheaper financing and be able to continue lowering these tariffs as we look at the losses in the sector and ensure that we are growing the demand so that this power is off-taken by the end users.
Okay, that pretty much answers the question of affordability in the near term, but also in the long term with regard to the fact that we shall have more power than we do have right now. But allow me stay on matters distribution. Umeme's exit, and that of course has posed a whole new set of concerns, not problems necessarily, but concerns about what next. I do not know how the ministry has effectively ensured that the next player does attend to the shortfalls that bedeviled Umeme or bedeviling Umeme. Is that a question that has been put before you or the top honchos in the ministry?
Thank you. The ministry continues to plan for the end of the concession that is currently operated by Umeme, the Umeme footprint. You will note that we entered a contract with Umeme for 20 years, which come to an end in March 2025. And as part of government strategy, which we've already implemented for, you remember, Kira Nalubale, when ESCOM exited, the Uganda Electricity Generation Company took over the operations of that dam, and they're doing well.
Yeah.
Namamve thermal power plant, when Jacobsen's concession came to an end a year or two ago, UEGCL, our generation company, took over the operations of Namamve, and they are doing a good job. So in the same vein, in order, number one, to capitalize on the capabilities that our national utility companies have developed over the years, come March 2025, the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited will take over the operations of the Umeme assets. Remember, these assets belong to this distribution company. They sit on the books of the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company. So it's largely the landlord taking back their house to ensure its efficient operation. Umeme has done a good job for the season they have operated. They have supported Grow Our Access. The figures we are reporting of 60%, they've contributed to the on-grid portion of that at about 24%. And therefore now, UEDCL takes on the operations of this concession. We have put in place all the structures to ensure UEDCL is well supported in terms of oversight, but also on the technical and financial side. We are working with the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to support us, first of all, to clear any obligations that will occur at the end of the concession for those monies that Umeme will not have recovered, because they operate a tariff recovery mechanism for their investments. They recover their investments through the tariff. So we will clear that. Finance is supporting us on that, but also support UEDCL to continue investing and therefore become sustainable in operating this concession. UEDCL currently operates in 84 districts. What we call the rural service territories, and they will be adding on to what they are already doing, and we continue to support them in that regard. All
right, your last words on this, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yes, as the government and therefore the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, we are committed to ensuring the energy security of the country for the long haul. We have just put in place our energy policy where we are committed to continue growing our generation capacity to 52,000 megawatts by 2040. Our key drivers, we must support industrialization of the country. The government has set clear ambitions for that, and electricity is a key driver for industrialization. We will support universal access to electricity. We are working hard to ensure we reach the last person in terms of supply. And finally, we are focused on the reliability and affordability of this electricity, and will continue investing prudently to bring down the tariffs to support the country in a sustainable manner and ensure the socio-economic development of Uganda. Thank you very much.
All right, Irene Bateebe, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Many thanks for the perspective and updates on Uganda's development and trajectory in as far as availability of electricity is concerned. That will do it for this interview.